The article outlines the geopolitical incompetence prevalent in the 21st century across continents like Europe, Asia, Africa, North and South America, leading to multipolar disorder. It highlights terrorism's evolution post 9/11, citing examples like the Islamic State and various lesser-known outfits like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Boko Haram. The escalating conflicts, particularly the attack on Ukraine by Russia and the Hamas-Israel conflict, signal distressing trends with potential global implications. The Indo-Pacific region's tensions between the US and China, primarily concerning strategic competition, stand as a potential catalyst for wider conflicts. Technology risks involving artificial intelligence, AI, cyber threats, and emerging quantum computing complexities pose significant global dangers. Additionally, health crises like the COVID-19 pandemic and the looming threat of climate change rank among the century's prominent challenges.
The article discusses the Supreme Court of India's current structure, which includes original, appellate, and advisory jurisdictions. It mentions the role of constitution benches in addressing substantial constitutional issues and the high number of pending cases before the Supreme Court. There is a historical perspective on the proposal to split the Supreme Court into constitutional and legal divisions for better accessibility and reduced fees. The suggestion for regional benches to handle non-constitutional cases is highlighted, emphasizing the need for a structural change due to the overburdened court. The article concludes by pointing out the ongoing analysis by a constitution bench for potential measures to enhance access to the Supreme Court.
The article highlights a grave situation where 41 construction workers, trapped for 2 weeks in the Silakyara Bend Tunnel, Uttarakhand, face a prolonged and challenging rescue operation. The tunnel is part of the Kair Dham Pariyojana, aimed at improving connectivity to religious pilgrimage sites. Critics, including environmentalists and locals, had earlier raised concerns about the project's impact on the fragile Himalayan ecosystem, emphasizing the increased risk of landslides. Despite Supreme Court approval, the government's avoidance of a comprehensive environmental impact assessment is criticized. The incident underscores the need for heightened scrutiny, expertise, and monitoring in infrastructure development in such delicate terrains.
The article discusses the demand for reservation by the Maratha community in Maharashtra, traditionally politically dominant and economically influential, despite the Supreme Court striking down the 16% quota for them in 2021. Data from the India Human Development Survey reveals intra-community variations in income and education, leading to resentment and calls for reservations amid agrarian crisis. The state government has formed a committee to issue Kumbi certificates for Marathas, but this has sparked tensions with OBC leaders. The article emphasizes the need for a comprehensive socio-economic survey to evaluate reservation implementation and highlights reservations alone cannot uplift the economically disadvantaged among the Marathas.
The article discusses the recent assembly elections in Chhattisgarh and how Maoist attempts to disrupt the polls were unsuccessful. The CPI, Maoist, had called for a boycott, but security forces, with increased reach and new camps, managed to ensure peaceful elections. The deployment of additional CRPF battalions and the Bastar Fighters Force contributed to this. Despite Maoist threats and attacks, several areas saw increased voter turnout, challenging the Maoist claim of ideological influence. The article suggests that the Maoist boycott call is losing traction, evidenced by higher polling and fewer incidents of violence in the recent elections.
The ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu, which opposed land acquisition for infrastructure projects while in the opposition, now faces challenges as it undertakes such projects. The DMK, previously against the Chennai-Salem Expressway project, has changed its stance after coming to power, emphasizing the importance of addressing farmers' concerns. The party's shift has drawn criticism, especially regarding the Neyveli Lignite Corporation's land acquisition. Critics argue that the DMK should balance industrial growth with agricultural development, reflecting on the views of its founder, C.N. Annadurai, who highlighted the importance of rural prosperity for overall progress.
Jammu and Kashmir, JK, Union Territory, is facing severe and prolonged power outages, with recent reports indicating cuts lasting over 18 hours a day. The region has consistently struggled with power cuts, impacting daily life and, during the pandemic, even affecting the operation of oxygen cylinders. SADI, System Average Interruption Duration Index, and SAFI, System Average Interruption Frequency Index, measures highlight the scale of the issue. In 2021-22, JK's power distribution companies, KPDCL and JPDCL, recorded high SADI values, with KPDCL experiencing 889 hours and JPDCL 489 hours of interruptions per customer. The situation has persisted, with September 2023 showing continued high SAFI and SADI values. The prolonged outages affect households' per capita income, reduce study time for girls, and impact women's employment.
Javier Milei, the recently elected president of Argentina, has proposed replacing the country's currency, the peso, with the US dollar. Milei, a self-professed anarcho-capitalist, aims to eliminate the central bank and reduce government spending. The plan to dollarize the economy is seen as a solution to hyperinflation, breaking the link between rising prices and increasing money supply. While experiences in Ecuador, Panama, and El Salvador offer promise for successful dollarization, challenges include loss of policy leverage, potential dependence on external factors like oil prices, and the need for adept domestic policy to ensure sustained economic growth.
Optical fibers, essential for high-speed internet connections, are thin glass strands that carry digital information almost at the speed of light. Developed from the 19th century, early optical fibers were used in medicine and defense. The breakthrough came in 1954 when Harold Hopkins and Narinder Singh Company transmitted images through optical fibers. In 1960, Theodore Mammon built the first laser, further advancing optical communication. In 1966, Charles Kao suggested using high-purity fused silica to reduce signal decay. Today, optical fibers are drawn from a heated glass preform, and India's Fibre Optics Laboratory produces high-quality silica-based optical fibers. The technology's future includes applications in quantum science and communication.
During the early stages of human embryonic development, a newly identified group of non-committed cells in the inner cell mass is eliminated early on in the process. These cells, identified by their lack of expression of the gene HRVH, were found to express transposons, also known as jumping genes, which can damage the genome and lead to cell death. The study suggests that HRVH protects pluripotent stem cells from transposon-induced damage, highlighting a mechanism for eliminating unfit cells in the developing human embryo. This discovery could have implications for regenerative medicine and infertility treatments.